we will continue where we left yesterday's lecture, right? So please kindly confirm is my screen is visible or not. My voice is clear now, guys.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. And also I already yesterday shared the one means one message there on the group or one format I already shared. So this is that format only for you guys. If you will not update on the group, so I can't understand why you are doing that stuff, because this is for you guys. Okay, this is no loss for our and no loss for us, because this is uh, the initiative taken for you guys only. So you follow properly, then you will get the job. Otherwise forget about the job and all the stuff. So let it be. We will start our remaining part. Okay, so in yesterday's lecture we started agile methodology, and in that we discussed regarding the architecture of agile, right? So in today's lecture we will continue where we left from, right? So yesterday's lecture we discussed regarding architecture of agile, right? So in that we already discussed regarding the stakeholder, and second part is project owner, right? So next or third part in agile architecture is, which is third part, guys? Which one?
Project backlog.
Project backlog.
Yeah, right. So in today's class we will discuss regarding the project backlog. Okay, project backlog, and in other word it also called as the product backlog. Both are the same, and it is nothing but the BRS document, right? So this is we will discuss today in our class the what is mean by project backlog or product backlog. Okay, so what happened in product backlog or project backlog? So the product backlog is a list of the entire requirement or user story that is given by the stakeholder, right? Because stakeholder having the bunch of requirement, you all know. So stakeholder having some requirement. uh, So the project backlog or product backlog is a list of the entire requirement, or we can say user story. We discuss regarding the user story, what is mean by user story and all that, right? In yesterday's lecture, we saw the what is mean by user story and what it contains. So what it contains, user story. Yes, tell me, guys.
Description and acceptance criteria.
Right, everyone clear about that? What is mean by description and what it contains in user story, and what is the acceptance criteria? Okay, so already we discussed regarding the user story, right? So the product backlog or the project backlog, it is a list of the entire requirement or user story that is given by the stakeholder, right? And the product owner is responsible for creating, maintaining and prioritizing the list of the product backlog, right? Who is responsible for backlog? The product owner, right? Because the stakeholder given the requirement to the product owner, right? So that the product owner or project owner is responsible for the creating, maintaining and the prioritizing the list of the product backlog, right? And the product backlog is a live document which is updated on demand as new requirement is come from the stakeholder, right? So it is a live document, means it get changes as per the customer or client requirement, or the stakeholders requirement. Suppose the stakeholder wants to some changes in their user story, so there might be the changes happens in the project backlog or product backlog as well, right? So it depends on the stakeholder requirement. and it is an order list of the requirement or user story which is owned by the product owner, right? So it is nothing but it is a one type of order list of the requirement or user story we can say, and which is owned by the product owner. And product owner uses this product backlog to explain the top requirement that need to be done during the sprint to the scrum team, right? So in current sprint or in first sprint, which requirement we have to, or which user story we have to perform first or we have to take first, right? So that's discussion will happen with project owner and the team member, right? Among the team member. So this is nothing but the product backlog. And what is the work of product backlog? So the product backlog main work is to contain the all user story of the stakeholder are noted in the project backlog, right? So that is nothing but the project backlog. And it is we can say it is one type of agreement between the company and the stakeholder, right? So it is a one type of agreement what the stakeholder require and what are the requirement stakeholder wants from the uh, us, right? So it is nothing but the one type of agreement between the company and the stakeholder. So that is nothing but the project backlog or product backlog. ओके गाइस, मैं हिंदी में फिर से एक बार समझाता हूँ क्योंकि कल एक स्टूडेंट की डिमांड थी कि हिंदी में भी समझाओ. सो एजाइल आर्किटेक्चर में थर्ड पॉइंट है प्रोजेक्ट बैकलॉग. सो प्रोजेक्ट बैकलॉग को हम लोग प्रोडक्ट बैकलॉग भी कर बोल सकते हैं. एंड इट इज नथिंग बट द बी आर एस डॉक्यूमेंट. हमने वी मॉडल में देखा है कि बी आर एस डॉक्यूमेंट में क्या क्या चीजें होती है, राइट? सो ये प्रोजेक्ट बैकलॉग में और प्रोडक्ट बैकलॉग में इंटायर रिक्वायरमेंट रहती है और वी कैन से यूजर स्टोरी रहती है. एंड जो कि हम लोगों को और स्टेक होल्डर देता है यूजर स्टोरी, राइट? स्टेक होल्डर उसके हिसाब से वो ये एप्लीकेशन में और प्रोडक्ट में क्या क्या चीज़ें चाहिए उसके हिसाब से वो यूजर स्टोरी प्रोवाइड करता है प्रोजेक्ट बैकलॉग में, राइट? एंड हु इज रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर क्रिएटिंग द प्रोजेक्ट बैकलॉग? सो यहाँ पे प्रोजेक्ट बैकलॉग क्रिएट करने के लिए और मेंटेन करने के लिए द प्रोडक्ट ओनर रिस्पॉन्सिबल रहता है, पर्सन रिस्पॉन्सिबल पर्सन रहता है प्रोडक्ट ओनर, राइट? एंड इट इज अ वन टाइप ऑफ डॉक्यूमेंट. ये एक टाइप का डॉक्यूमेंट है जिसमें कि अपडेटेड डिमांड रहती है एज पर द स्टेक होल्डर्स रिक्वायरमेंट, राइट? एंड इट इज कम फ्रॉम द स्टेक होल्डर, राइट? एंड इन अदर वर्ड we can say so project backlog contains all user story for whole project. जो पूरे प्रोजेक्ट के लिए जो भी रिक्वायरमेंट है और यूजर स्टोरी है, ये सब चीजें प्रोजेक्ट बैकलॉग में मेंशन रहती है, राइट? एंड प्रोजेक्ट बैकलॉग को अपडेट करना, मेंटेन रखना, ये सब चीजें करता है प्रोडक्ट ओनर, राइट? द प्रोडक्ट ओनर इज रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर क्रिएटिंग, अपडेटिंग एंड मेंटेनिंग द प्रोडक्ट बैकलॉग और प्रोजेक्ट बैकलॉग, राइट? होप दिस इज क्लियर गाइज. एंड प्रोडक्ट बैकलॉग का और एक क्या काम रहता है, द सॉरी प्रोजेक्ट ओनर का. द प्रोजेक्ट ओनर इज यूजेस दिस प्रोडक्ट बैकलॉग टू एक्सप्लेन द टॉप रिक्वायरमेंट्स दैट नीड्स टू बी डन ड्यूरिंग द स्प्रिंट टू द स्क्रम टीम, राइट? जो स्क्रम टीम है, हमने कल भी देखा है, तो स्क्रम टीम में स्क्रम मास्टर रहता है, डेवलपर की टीम रहती है और टेस्टिंग की टीम रहती है, राइट? तो प्रोजेक्ट ओनर का ये काम है कि जो भी ये प्रोडक्ट ओनर सॉरी प्रोडक्ट बैकलॉग है जिसमें जो भी रिक्वायरमेंट आते हैं वो एक्सप्लेन करना स्क्रम टीम को, राइट? कि करंट स्पिन में हम कौन से चीजें करने वाले हैं एंड ये यूजर रिक्वायरमेंट में क्या है, यूजर स्टोरी में क्या है, क्या क्या रिक्वायरमेंट है, क्या क्या एक्सेप्टेंस क्राइटेरिया है, डिस्क्रिप्शन क्या है, ये सब चीजें एक्सप्लेन करता है प्रोडक्ट ओनर टू द स्क्रम टीम, राइट? होप दिस इज क्लियर गाइज. सो आई विल राइट हियर the first point in the project backlog. Product backlog is a list of the entire requirement, और रिक्वायरमेंट को हम लोग बोल सकते हैं यूजर स्टोरीज, और who is given that user stories or requirement, that given by the stakeholder, right? This is the first point regarding the project backlog. And second point, the product owner is responsible for creating and maintaining, updating all the project backlog document, right? The product owner is responsible for creating, updating, maintaining, and prioritizing this list of product backlog. Like, right, guys? This is the second point regarding the product backlog. And third point, it is nothing but it is agreement between company and stakeholder. This is the third point regarding the project backlog. And next is the product backlog is live document which is updated on demand as new requirement is come from the stakeholder. So this is the fourth point. Product backlog is live document which is updated on demand as new requirement is come from stakeholder, right? So it is and in other word we can say all the user stories or requirement of stakeholder are noted in the project backlog, right? So this is the fifth point regarding the project backlog. So all user stories or requirement of stakeholder are noted in project backlog, right? Okay, this is the third point regarding the project backlog. And the product owner uses this product backlog to explain the top requirement that need to be done during the sprint to the scrum team, right? So this is the next point. The product owner uses this product backlog to explain The top requirements that need to be done during the sprint. So what is mean by sprint? We discussed yesterday's lecture. So everyone knows that what is mean by sprint and what is the duration of sprint. Yes, guys.
The duration is 2 or 3 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah. It depends on the project
2 weeks.
scrum master. Means scrum master decided the duration of sprint, right? According to the project. Okay. So this point is clear regarding the product backlog, guys. Anyone having problem? Please let me know. Yes, guys. Everyone.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, can you please share point number two?
What?
Can you please keep point number two, sir?
Slide number 2.
Yeah, slide number two in point number two, second point. Product owner is responsible for that.
Second point.
Yeah,
Okay. Means what happened here? The product owner, right? In yesterday's lecture, we discussed regarding the product owner. So, what is the role of product owner here? So, product owner is taking the whole requirement from the stakeholder, right? So, work of product owner is to take the whole requirement regarding the project from the stakeholder, right? So that also the second work of project owner here is it is responsible for creating, updating, and maintaining the and prioritizing this list of the product backlog, right? Means in product backlog, the different requirements or user stories we store in that product backlog, right? So which user story we have to take in the next sprint or current sprint, right? So that work has to be done by the product owner, right? Because the product owner is maintaining this product backlog or project backlog, right? Because he will create this, update this. Suppose the stakeholder wants to change some requirement or some user story, right? So the product owner have to change that user story or the requirement according to the stakeholder, right? So that is the main work of the product owner, right? So that product owner is responsible for creating, updating, and maintaining, also the prioritizing this list of the product backlog. Hope this is clear, Kumara.
yes, sir.
If you want, I can explain like what is product backlog.
What, Lovika? Can you repeat once again?
Yeah, if you say if can I like let the guys know like what is product backlog?
Okay, you can.
Yeah, so the like actually the product backlog is a kind of a bucket. We assume it's like a bucket where all the user stories are kept and it is maintained by the product owner. And you know the like the product backlog is imagined as a wish of like all the list of the sprint like user stories, and the product owner who is the person who is prioritize the stories as per the business needs. And whenever we have a meetings, I don't know like you knows like what is sprint planning and what is the meetings, yeah, scrum ceremonies, but I think most of the guys are not know. So whenever we have like a planning meeting, so one of the user stories pick from the product backlog, that what I told, like it's a kind of bucket. Then the team does the brainstorming, and on the basis of that we product owner will collect all the stories like one by one, and then we will do like as per the print, and we discuss in our first meeting like what we do in like in that like what we do in that project.
Yeah,
After that we are going, yeah. Thank you for giving me the chance to explain. Thank you.
yeah, anytime. Here, this is the open platform, so everyone can means give means your thoughts here, or you can convey your thoughts to everyone. So this is the open platform to all guys. If more than me, if anyone knows regarding whatever topic I am teaching here, so let me know. I will give the chance to explain here. Like right now, the Loika very well explained what is mean by project backlog, right? Okay, guys. So we will moving forward.
And also, we are not using this term like project backlog. Usually, in like when we in our work area, we are basically said like as a product backlog. Every time
Yeah,
we use
yeah.
like product backlog.
But other word also there like project backlog. So that
Yeah, yeah,
mention will also mention here.
yeah.
Okay. So the next in the agile architecture, what is next after the project backlog or product backlog?
Estimation.
Sprint backlog. Sprint backlog.
So after that we are having the estimation. Before the
Oh, story estimation. Okay.
estimation. So what happened in estimation? So you know very well. Suppose we have to buy one mobile, right? So we have estimation regarding that mobile, right? Suppose your budget is suppose 50K you are having your budget with you, right? And you know you will means means obtain the estimation from the different side. You got estimation from the different side. So according to your budget, right? So what it contains in our mobile phone. Suppose uh, we will decide the first company, which company we should buy the mobile phone. In 50K there is iPhone we can buy, right? Mini iPhone. Then there are different companies are there. Samsung, then Motorola is there, Realme is there, Redmi is there, right? So according to our budget we plan our estimation, or we will derive our estimation according to our budget, right? So like that in estimation what happened here. So here also uh, so estimation is nothing but the, it is nothing but the one type of sprint planning meeting, right? So estimation, in other word we can say it is nothing but the sprint planning meeting, right? So what happened in estimation? So let's discuss regarding the estimation. So it is, yes Loika.
I'm sorry, you are talking about the user story estimation, or is it a different term, user story estimation or estimation?
Only estimation, not a user story estimation. Because in
Okay.
estimation, so all the project related activities, estimation, all the things are going to discuss here.
Okay.
So it is also called as sprint planning meeting, right? So in agile methodology there are different meetings are happen. So going forward we will discuss what are the meetings. Okay. So in agile method the focus is on module based release. We all knows that we are delivering our project or our product in module based, right? In each sprint we will delivering the some modules, right, in each sprint. So for specific module few of the user stories is needed. Suppose in we decide in sprint 1, suppose here sprint 1 we decide two modules we are going to release in first sprint, right? Yes.
Sir, is estimation is related to cost of product?
Yes. So estimation having three main factors, right? There is a knowledge, efforts, and complexity of the project. So I will explain what is this. So estimation. So to start the sprint, we need estimation, right? Suppose in sprint 1 we decided we have to release the two modules regarding project, right? So to start the sprint, estimation is done, right? And the scrum team works in a short time period of 2 weeks called as a sprint. So this is nothing but the sprint. So what happened in estimation? So in estimation, to start the sprint, estimation is done. So estimation having the three main factors. First one is knowledge, then efforts and complexity, right? And to choose specific requirement among all the mentioned in the product backlog. So for that purpose, we are doing the estimation, right? So estimation having mainly estimation depends on three factors. First is knowledge, then efforts and complexity of the project. So these three factor will consider while doing the estimation, right? The first one is knowledge, efforts and complexity. So what is mean by estimation here? So to specific module, few of the user stories is needed. To start the sprint, estimation is done. Suppose we are starting the sprint 1 and sprint 2, sprint 3, right, like that. So for all that we are doing the estimation here, and estimation is mainly depends on the three factor: knowledge, efforts and complexity. So what happens in knowledge and what it contains in the knowledge? So in knowledge, the team formation is done as per the domain knowledge and the experience required for the project, right? And they will check the knowledge of their team member in the knowledge, right? Suppose before starting any project, so this estimation will happen. Suppose you hire uh, by company, and here suppose you have to assign some means project to you, right? So before that, the company will consider you according to your knowledge, because the domain knowledge is required for that project, right? So if you have domain knowledge, only then you got higher, and you got a chance to work on this project, right? So here the knowledge will check uh, here in the estimation, right? The team formation also happens, or team formation is done as per the domain knowledge, right? In knowledge, what happens? Team formation is done as per the domain knowledge and experience required for the project. So you might got question here. Suppose any company hire freshers. So here, so how they will having knowledge, right? So in that case, company will provide the knowledge transfer session. Suppose some fresher will got hire in any company. So there is a KT session will arrange in the company, and in that case, KT session regarding project, so some means company will provide a training regarding that domain knowledge, right? For the fresher as well as experienced people also, the domain knowledge will provided by the company, right? So here in the knowledge or in the estimation phase, the first factor is knowledge will consider. So in that knowledge, the team formation is done according to the domain knowledge and experience required for the project, right? And here they will check the knowledge of their team member in the knowledge. knowledge of their team member, right? So this will happen in the knowledge. Then second factor in the estimation depends on, or second factor uh, in the estimation are efforts. So estimation done on the basis of efforts also. So what happens in efforts? Selection of user stories depend on the module. So and it decides the how much efforts or time is required to complete the sprint, right? So it also consider while doing the estimation of the project. So in that it decides how much efforts or time is required to complete the sprint. And here they will check how many efforts are required taking for their team to complete assigned task, right? And how many resources are required here also. Here in efforts factor they will consider, they will check how many efforts are required working for their team to complete assigned task, right? Then next is how many resources are required also. Here that also is considered in the efforts, right? So this is the second factor which is considered in the estimation while doing the estimation. Then third factor is nothing but the complexity of the project or product. So what happened in complexity? So it decide the complexity and blocker in the project and how to overcome it. And Scrum Master and project owner will check complexity occurs or not. They will check the challenges and obstacles are there or not. So any obstacle will come, or how to overcome that if some obstacle will come, or some blocker will come during the sprint or that. So that also consider in the estimation, right? So here it decides complexity and blockers in the project and how to overcome it. Here the Scrum Master and the project owner will check the complexity of the project, occur or not, and they will check the challenges and obstacle are there or not. So that will happens in the complexity, right? So this will happen in the estimation, right? So estimation is mainly depends on the uh, three factors: knowledge, efforts, and complexity. So in that factor, and from that three factors, the estimation is done. The project estimation will done according to the knowledge, efforts, and complexity, right? So this estimation is done by the scrum team, sorry, scrum master and project owner, right? So hope this is clear, guys. So who will involve in the estimation phase?
Scrum Master.
So there are scrum master, the main important person for doing the
I think product owner is also there.
yeah, product owner also there. Product owner also
And
there.
I think business stakeholders are also there.
No, not required business stakeholder, because they are already given their requirement. So they don't know how the team member or the company will take their project, or how they doing all the stuff, right? Because they are not the part of the technical aspect, right? Because stakeholder having only requirement, right? They don't know regarding the what testing you are doing, and which code you are writing there, right? So that only knows the scrum master, project owner, developer team, and testing team, which testing you are doing here and what testing you require to done in that project, right? So that all and right, guys.
Yep.
So in estimation phase, the stakeholder is not present there. Only the scrum master, project owner, developer team, and testing team is present in the estimation phase. So here I am telling you there are different meeting also there. It will also discuss in the estimation phase. So in agile there are different meetings are happen. The first meeting is the grooming meeting, right? Then a second meeting, we can say grooming meeting. After grooming meeting, there is a sprint planning meeting. Don't worry, guys. We will discuss all the meetings in details in going forward. Then daily stand-up meeting. It is also called as stand-up meeting, and it is also called as or scrum meeting. This will happen on the daily basis. Then fourth meeting is review meeting, sprint review meeting, and last one is sprint retrospective meeting. So that meeting, when we will conduct that meeting and all that stuff also, it will consider in the estimation, right? So when we have to arrange the grooming meeting, then when we have to arrange the sprint planning meeting. But the daily stand-up meeting, it will conduct on the daily basis. So that will happen on the daily basis, right? Then after the each sprint completion, there is a sprint review meeting will happen. Then after that, the sprint retrospective meeting will also happen, right? So that also discuss in the estimation phase. Hope this is clear, guys. So in estimation phase mainly depends on the knowledge, efforts, and complexity, right? So in knowledge, they will check the team formation. They will done the team formation as per the knowledge of the domain, or the knowledge of the experience or experience required for the project. and in efforts they will decide the how much time required to complete the project, and how many team members are required. So generally, so in my organization, our team having the 9 members, right? 9 members, including project owner and the scrum master, right? So here there is a 5 developer are there and only 2 testers are there. Only QA people are 2 in my team, right? So here I am having only 9 member team, right? I am not included here the stakeholder in my team. Only the project owner, scrum master, 5 developers are there and 2 testers are there. And these 2 testers are responsible for the automation as well as manual testing. And for database testing, there are different testers are responsible. They are not in my team because database testing are performed in the different team, right? And also there is a designer are not included in my team. So we are having the 9 member team. So in that, project owner is there, scrum master is there, 5 developers are there, and 2 testers and QA there. And in that 5 developers, some are full stack developer, some are back end developer, and some one is front end developer. So that also include in the 5 developer team, right? Hope this is clear. So this team formation is happen in the sprint estimation phase, and according to the project requirement, the team formation will happen. Means which resources is involved in that team. So that depends on the project, right? Which domain you are using, right?
हेलो हाँ सर बोलिए नहीं नहीं हुआ है ओके
Okay, hope this is clear, guys. The estimation phase. Yes, guys, clear? Everyone?
Yes.
Okay. So next point is in our agile architecture. Fifth point is sprint backlog, right? So after estimation phase, there is a sprint backlog. So what happened in sprint backlog, we will discuss. So what is mean by sprint here? Everyone knows what is mean by sprint. Please tell me, guys, what is mean by sprint?
Sprint is a predefined
Yes,
time period during with specific work or user storage has to be done.
right. So the Scrum team works in the short time period of 2 weeks, called as a sprint. So we can say in other words, the Scrum team works in the short time period of 2 weeks. That is nothing but the sprint, because we are considering here the our sprint is having 2 weeks time, right? 2 week. Uh, the time duration of our sprint is 2 weeks, right? So I am writing here the Scrum team work in short time period, 2 weeks, called as sprint, right? Hope this is clear what is meant by sprint. So during this sprint, the scrum team identifies the items from the product backlog on which they have to work in the next iteration or next sprint, right? And the sprint backlogs are created by selecting a priority wise task from the product backlog, breaking them into the actionable means sprint items, right? And the sprint backlog is a set of all the product backlog items chosen for the current sprint. So what happened in the sprint backlog? Suppose we will discuss in starting lecture. Suppose we are having the six modules here. First, second, kindly mute guys. Kumara, mute yourself. So here, suppose these two module we have to decide we will take in sprint 1, right? And these two module we decide we will take in the second sprint, and this fifth and sixth module we decided we have to take in the third sprint, right? So these all modules, six modules are present in the product backlog or project backlog, right? So from then that product backlog we'll decide to take these two modules, right? We'll decide these two module we have take in the current sprint or first sprint, right? So this is happen in the sprint backlog. The sprint backlog are created by selecting the priority wise task from the product backlog. Suppose we are giving the first and second module priority, we have to take in the current sprint or first sprint, right? So this is also this already present in the product backlog. So we will take these two modules to start working on that module in the sprint backlog, right? So what happened in the sprint backlog? Thus during this sprint backlog, the sprint backlog document is prepared from the product backlog, and in this specific requirement are mentioned, and all the requirement are divided into single requirement, and it is mentioned in the user story. And sprint backlog also contains the user story which is to be completed in a current sprint, right? So I am writing here what happened in sprint backlog. And sprint backlog is created by project owner also. Sorry. Sprint backlog is created by project owner. And second point is, and this sprint backlog document is created or we can say prepared from the product backlog, right? And what it contains in the sprint backlog? The sprint backlog contains user stories. User stories is nothing but the requirements which is to be completed in a sprint, in current sprint, right? And then what happened here? The sprint backlog are created by selecting priority wise task from the product backlog, and breaking them into the actionable sprint item. Right, this is the fourth point regarding the sprint backlog, and I am writing here next point. The sprint backlog is a set of all the product backlog terms chosen for the current sprint. And who is responsible to create the sprint backlog? The PO is responsible to create the PO is responsible for sprint backlog. Right, guys? And sprint backlog is nothing but the, we can say, sprint backlog is the output of the sprint planning meeting, right? So in other words, we can say the sprint backlog is the output of the sprint planning meeting. So what happened in sprint planning meeting? So we will discuss later. So we can say the sprint backlog is nothing but it is the output of the sprint planning meeting. Hope this is clear, guys. Everyone. Anyone having a doubt? Yes, guys.
So, can you please go back to the previous page and explain a bit about it more?
This one,
This, yes, the sprint backlog are created by
toner.
the third one.
Okay.
Sorry,
So
the fourth one.
sprint backlog are created by selecting a priority-wise task from the product backlog. I already discussed here. Suppose in product backlog, there are 6 modules are present, right? First, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. So in sprint planning meeting, we decided suppose we have to go with the that 2 module, first and second, right? In sprint one. So only that 2 modules we will take in the sprint backlog, right, from the product backlog, and according to that we will start our first sprint. Hope this is clear right now. Yeah, Priyanka. Hello.
Yes, sir, it is clear.
Okay.
Thank you.
So this is nothing but the sprint backlog, right? Then next is, what is next after sprint backlog? Check your next what is in agile architecture after sprint backlog? What user story?
Users.
User story.
Right. So next is user story. User stories or user story. So what is mean by user story? Tell me, guys, what is mean by user story? We discussed yesterday's lecture. What is mean by user story, or what it contains?
What to, what to work, where to work, it's a completely work assignment.
Okay, who will
or
give? Yeah,
or requirement.
yeah. User story is nothing
Yeah,
but the
requirement.
requirement.
Suppose, example, it's a login page, set up all login page. That is one user story requirement. Other user story.
Yeah, we discussed one example in yesterday's lecture regarding the Gmail application login page, right? So that is nothing but the user story. That is, it will came from the stakeholder, right? Suppose you stakeholder wants to design the one login page for the Gmail application. So that is the requirement from the stakeholder, right? That is nothing but the user story. And in user story, what it contains? User story having two parts, right? First one is a description. In user story, the description is mentioned regarding the user story, and second one is the acceptance criteria, right? Okay, guys. So that two things are mentioned in the user story, and user story is nothing but the requirement from the stakeholder. Requirement from stakeholder. And what is mean by acceptance criteria? So it is nothing but it is a set of predefined requirement that must be met in order to make the user story complete, right? Suppose user story I am taking here. Uh, suppose the credit card payment. I am taking another example for user story. Suppose user want to make credit card payment. This is my user story, right? This is my user story. So in description, it it is mentioned that so user are able to make the payment by using his credit card. So that mentioned in the description criteria. And what is the acceptance criteria to make that payment? Suppose acceptance criteria for credit card payment is, what is the acceptance criteria to make the credit card payment? Can you tell me, guys? Yes, anyone? So what we require here, acceptance criteria. What is the acceptable are there? So we require here card number, credit card number. Then second acceptance criteria, credit card holder name should be displayed. Kindly mute, guys. Lovika, please mute. So display the name of card holder while doing the payment. This is the second acceptance criteria we can say. Then CVV number should must be there. Then expiry date of that card, and etc etc, right? So that all things are mentioned in the user story, right? That is nothing but the user story. So user story are nothing but it is the functional requirement for the development of module. And user story contains the detailed description and the acceptance criteria, right? And also each user story has its own story point, right? So user story is nothing but the user stories are the functional requirement for the module development. So I am telling you here other word and new word here. the story point, because each user story having is story point. So what is mean by story point here? Anyone knows what is mean by story point?
Yes, I know story points.
Yes, tell me.
On the basis of story points, we are estimate our stories.
Yeah, means story point
Like it's
nothing
a
but the time required to complete that user story, right? The tester time is required to develop the that user story. Sorry, test the user story, and developer time. So developer time plus tester time. So that is nothing but the story point, right? Suppose for same user story, I am taking here the user want to make the credit card payment, right? For writing uh, the code for that user story, suppose developer given that time to given time, suppose 2 days to complete that user story. So all codes are right, and it required 2 days time to write the code regarding that user story, right? So developer is
Sir, it's require eight user story points when it is
yes,
14 user story points, 8 user story points. They give 2 days, 14 user stories point, 4 days user story.
yeah, they can give 4 day user story.
Yeah, for some user stories is taken 5 working days as well.
Yeah, yeah, according to the user story, right? Because some user
Yeah, yeah.
story
According
having
to
the complex
actually, you write in credit card details, all card. This is authentications and everything,
yeah,
checking,
yeah, yeah.
testing, and everything.
In that case the tester will require more time, right?
Yeah,
So according to that, and according to that tester skill, they given the time to complete the user story, right?
yeah, yeah. 8 points and
Yeah,
14 points.
suppose
Yeah.
tester required only 1 day to
Mm,
check all the functionality related that user story, right? So tester
yeah.
may give the 1 day, right? But
Mm-hmm.
what happens here, generally we are giving the more time here. Suppose we know that the that user story we will complete in 1 day, but we will given the
Okay.
2 day time for the in the planning meeting, right?
Yeah.
So user story point is nothing but the it is the time required to complete the user story. Writing here.
Okay. Other thing, if it is not possible to 5 working days to finish user story, and developer needs to ask, maybe they need to add 4 points and eight
Yeah,
points
yeah.
as well.
So what happened in that case? Suppose developer given the 5 days,
Not finishing
five.
timely manner.
So in that case, the that user story will added in the next sprint, right? It will complete
Yes.
in the next sprint. So in that case, that will happen. Suppose tester given 2 days time, and in that 2 days, that user story will not complete. So the next sprint, that user story will continue, right? And in next sprint the tester will complete that user story, remaining user story. So that is nothing worry about that if we not complete the user story in a given time, but we will try to do in the given time limit, right? Because in the planning meeting or in the sprint meeting, the scrum master or our technical lead will ask you or ask us to give the story point regarding that user story, right? So in that case we already uh, given there, or we will give the extra time. Suppose we have to require suppose 1 day to complete that user story, but uh, we will give the 1 day extra for complete that user story, right? Generally that happens. So story point is nothing but the time required to complete the user story. And here the developer time, combination of developer time plus tester time is nothing but the user story, right? So that is nothing but the user story. Hope this is clear, guys. Clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is nothing but the regarding user stories, right? So next, what is next? Last part. What is our last part in agile architecture? Test case design, right? Test cases design. This is the last part in the agile architecture. So what is mean by test cases? Right, guys? Tell me what is mean by test case and who is design the test cases?
How to test?
Yeah, right. How to test? What is mean by test scenario?
What is test? Yeah, I think.
Yeah, we are writing the test case on the basis of test scenario, right? And a test scenario is nothing but the user story. Suppose same example I am writing. First I am writing here the difference between test scenario and test cases. What is mean by test scenario here? And test cases. So test scenario is nothing but the what to test, and test cases is nothing but the how to test. We know that what to test, then according to that we will decide how to test, right? So test cases is depends on the test scenario, right? This is the first point regarding the test cases and test scenario. So generally the test scenario are positive, but test cases are negative as well as positive, right? So test scenarios are positive and test cases are positive as well as negative, right? This is nothing but the test cases. Then third point, the test scenario is derived from the user story, right? So how we will derive the test scenario? So it is derived from the requirement of the user story, right? So it is, and test cases is derived from the test scenario, right, guys? So for test scenario we require less time as compared to the test cases. So it requires less time and it requires more time as compared to test scenario. So main difference of the test scenario is, so by using test scenario or through the test scenario, we are checking the functionality of the application is correct or not. And by using the test cases or through the test cases, we are checking the scenario is correct or not. So that is also the next difference between the test scenario and I'm writing here through scenario. We are checking functionality of the application. Is correct or not through a test cases. We are checking scenario is correct or not. Right, hope this is clear guys, everyone. And the test cases is nothing but the test cases are mapped with the user stories, right? Because on the basis of user story we are writing the test cases, right? So test cases are mapped with the user story so that there should not left any functionality to test, right? So test cases are, and who is writing the test cases? The test cases are written by the tester or it is designed by the tester, right? So I am writing here the test cases are designed by tester, and the test cases are mapped with the user stories. So test cases mapped with user stories. So what happened here? So that there should not left any functionality to test, right? So this is nothing but the test case design, right? So we are following the some methods or some techniques to design the test cases, but generally we are writing the test cases by in the excel sheet, right? So excel sheet, by using excel sheet we are writing the test cases, right? So there are some techniques are used to design the test cases. So which are the techniques used to design the test cases? Techniques are used. So which are the techniques? So first technique is boundary value analysis. Then second technique, equivalence class partitioning. So this is the very important question regarding your interview perspective, because in interviewer ask regarding which technique you are following to write the test cases or to design the test cases, right? So always keep in your mind. So there are different techniques we are using to write the test cases. In my organization also we are following the boundary value analysis and equivalence class partitioning, and other methods are also there. So I will write here. So error guessing is there, error guessing techniques also there. And last one I forgot, which one last one is, so anyone knows which are the other?
Uh, is, is it exploratory testing?
No, no, exploratory technique is different.
Okay. Okay.
This is the terminology exploratory testing which are performing.
Okay. Thank you.
So error guessing also there. And I forgot one technique. So other technique also there to write the test cases. So we have to more focus on that
It's
techniques.
equivalent partition.
Yeah, already I am written here equivalence class partitioning. That is nothing but the
Okay.
ECP, and this is the BVA, boundary value analysis. Mm,
Or it is, I think, decision table testing.
right, correct. Decision table technique. Right. So these four methods we are using to write the test cases or techniques. These are the techniques to write the test cases. On the basis of this, we are writing the different test cases, right? But generally, most of the companies will prefer that two techniques: boundary value analysis and equivalence class partitioning. So, but I will tell you what is the error guessing also and decision table technique also, right? So that are the four techniques which are mostly followed by the company to write the test cases, or the tester followed the that four techniques to write the test cases, right? That all are the techniques, but we are write the test cases by using the Excel sheet. In the Excel sheet we are writing the test cases, right? And test cases having the template also. So I will discuss in the next class regarding the technique as well as the test case template, right?
Sir, there are using so many resources, Q testing like X-ray, Excel sheet,
What?
Q testing, like X-ray, using writing test cases with one tool is a X-ray and the other tool is a Q testing.
Okay, I am not aware about that tool because I am writing
Uh,
by using the Excel sheet only. So
okay,
I am
that's
not
good.
aware about that.
Hmm.
So we will end up here only. In today's class we will end up here. So is there anyone having question? Please ask me.